Went for a walk today, and they have like Christmas lights, and like it's okay. I mean, it's weird because like Toronto's in total lockdown, and Burlington is like it's 1972 or something. Everybody's just kind of. I mean, everybody's wearing a mask, but people are just kind of cruising around. The beach is busy.
It's like Edmonton right now until Sunday.
Really?
Well, because we're locking down on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Or Sunday's our last day of freedom.
So why are you being taken over? Why are you being taken over by homeless people in there?
Because I let one of them stay in there for like an hour once without like confronting them. So maybe word gets around that I was being nice, but they'll come in and this guy had a laptop though.
Oh, really? My favorite thing is people interacting with homeless people during a pandemic, because homeless people generally have to be reminded to put a mask on.
Yeah.
But you don't really want to push it because they're homeless, and so
and a lot of all the ones I've been dealing with are addicts or mentally ill. And then,
oh yeah.
And then I'm getting called a cunt because some guy called me a cunt because I told him to wear a mask.
Was it a homeless guy that said you were a cunt?
No, it was just a mean old white man.
Oh God, mean old white guys.
Mean old white guys. And then, can we please talk about that video? I don't care if we'll talk about it.
Oh, the thing I love about it is like, so there was a
we'll
festival.
Explain it, yeah.
Yeah, there's a festival in Calgary called the Funny Fest.
We were both invited to this show, by the way.
You just always got to plug yourself.
No, you were invited too, though.
No, we were invited. Yes, we're definitely invited.
We just didn't go.
But it was like it ended up being a super spreader event. And the thing I think is funny about it is like comedy never gets pressed. Like there's no story about like local stand-up in Calgary or Edmonton. But in this one, Global did a 3-minute piece on it, and it just it just makes comedy look dangerous. Like it was just like 8 comedians not wearing masks and like waving on a stage. And that the reason the comedians aren't wearing masks is because Stu told them to take their fucking masks off because there was because they were going to take a picture. I guarantee that happened.
Of course. Well,
there's 9 people. There's 9 people in the photo, and 7 of them are holding masks in their hands, and 2 of them never had a mask in their life. And the 2 that Stu Hughes said to these 7, take your fucking masks off, you communist pieces of shit. It's picture time. And they did. Like grudgingly, we're like, okay. And then 8 of them got COVID. So this was like a comedy show November 24th. It was a Funny Fest production, and 8 people got COVID out of it. And it was on Global. Like, it's not a big deal, obviously, but still, it's like you couldn't get press for a local comedy thing. And now this just like, boom, it makes comedy look like it's the most dangerous thing you could possibly do.
Yeah, and it's gonna fuck it up for everybody else. But that's what this guy's Stu. Remember, my thing about Stu is he always will be like, no ties on stage, no fucking ties on stage. So now it's no masks on stage, like no fucking masks.
As soon as COVID happened, one of my first thoughts was like, Stu is gonna be an anti-masker. There's no question. He's like, he looks at it as like a life prop. Like prop comics, and this is like some prop comic walking around, like that's how he views masks, is like it's some kind of prop that you're wearing, like just live your fucking life, take in the droplets as they come. He's that guy until he's in a hospital. Like that's the thing too about, like, I would hate to be a nurse or a doctor, because a lot of times you're treating people and putting yourself in harm's way for people that were out in the community saying fuck all this, is just the flu. And now, like, as a nurse, am I supposed to put my life? Why would I pick up extra shifts and put in overtime to try to help people who thought this was a bunch of bullshit right from the start and didn't protect themselves or anybody around them?
I think that most people have that attitude that like people that don't wear masks should not get healthcare.
Well, they should.
Well, they can get healthcare, but not for COVID.
Yeah, if I'm a nurse, I'm like, I'm not picking up an extra shift to help this guy.
Yeah.
Because though, like, Stu at that show for sure was like, this is bullshit. COVID's bullshit. They should be locking us down. It's bullshit. And then, I guess the whole thing isn't bullshit. I guess we should have been locked down. I guess this can lead to a super spreader event,
But it's so sad that like this is what has to happen, that people like Stu have to actually get COVID for them to understand. Like, I read this article today about how what life is like in Australia and New Zealand and Thailand and Korea and places where it doesn't exist anymore because they took really strong precautions, because they did really strong lockdowns at the beginning, and now it doesn't. And they're going to movies, they're all out, they're going to weddings. It's like, it's their lives are normal. And because we have a couple of stupid politicians that listen to their shitty base that tell them, oh, my rights, give me my rights. Now we're fucked. I don't get to see my family at Christmas. I don't get like, it's just like, we're so fucked now because they listened to the stupidest people in our population. I don't care anymore. I want to just let them all know that I hate every person that is an anti-masker, and I hope that they get chronic diarrhea for the rest of their life.
You want them all to be long haulers.
Yeah, I want their lives to suck for a very long time, because they fucked all of us. The reason people are dying is because of these stupid anti-maskers. The reason we don't get Christmas is because of these stupid anti-maskers and these conspiracy theorists. Like, the reason why we're all fucked is because these people are selfish.
Yeah, they just don't want to. I mean, I said it on like one of your posts on Facebook where, like, you know, COVID is as close as conspiracy theorists are ever going to get to being right about something. So it's natural for them to push this agenda, because this is as close as they're ever going to, like, people think they're crazy, and they're actually getting some traction now, right? Like, there are some people that they've been able to pull into their, maybe this is a one world government agenda, you know, nonsense or whatever. But this is as close. I mean, I don't blame them for trying to like fit this into their narrative, but it's not actually happening. Like, it's, you know, in 1918, people stopped wearing masks when it passed, and then that was it. And it was the roaring 20s. And there was, you know, like, the idea that this is going to lead, like, oh, they're trying to prove that they can control us or whatever. Well, they can't, because as soon as there's no pandemic, then the control's gone. Like, if there's no pandemic and they're like, we want you guys to wear like one shoe for a month, everybody would be like, fuck you. Like, no one listens to the government unless they're afraid they're going to die if they don't.
Yeah, or unless it's like scientifically proven that you should do something.
Yeah, like, I don't like listening to authority either, but I don't have to be crazy and ignore. Like, you can't do enough research. Like, you're not a scientist. You can't do your research. Me, like the general public, we can't do enough research in 2 weeks to catch up to somebody who's been an epidemiologist for 14 years.
Oh, you mean the guy that I went to high school with and that's on Facebook that's saying it's a conspiracy? That guy hasn't done a lot of research?
Oh my God. And like, most of the people that I know that are into it, there's not a degree in the bunch.
No.
Right? Like,
there's not even a NAIT diploma.
No, there's not even fucking a Grant McEwen certificate.
There's barely high school diplomas in that bunch.
Yeah, there's maybe a little bit of remedial training and a GED. So you can sort of see that it's like, you know, like, when you see who is a conspiracy theorist generally and their background educationally, you can see that it is sort of a reaction to like this idea that like they feel inadequate intellectually and they feel inadequate educationally and academically, or so this is sort of a reaction to that. Like, you know, you guys all think you're smarter than me. Actually, I'm smarter than you.
Yeah, because, it is really scary, because all the people that I've noticed, they're just not like, they're not all with it. They're either extremely mentally ill or they're just literally stupid.
But I do think it's funny when homeless people just like walk into somewhere without a mask and they're just like trying to get some, like, I mean, and then watching people react because they want to be like, oh my God, this is somebody who needs help, but put a fucking mask on, you.
Yeah. Yeah, please put a mask on.
It's kind of funny.
But two of them have come in and they're like coughing and I'm just like, all right, you can't be here. I literally had to like sanitize a whole corner of the coffee shop because this guy came in and was spreading his stuff out. Like, somebody bought him a coffee. He was sleeping out front and I just ignored it. And then somebody bought him a coffee and a croissant or something. And then he says, oh, well, I'm a customer now. So he came in and started unpacking all of his stuff, coughing. His mask was on his chin. He had a mask. It was on his chin.
Oh my God.
Very mentally ill. There was something wrong with him. and I was trying so hard to be nice and compassionate, but then at some point I'm just like, I am not getting COVID from you for working a minimum wage job at a coffee shop. I'm not getting COVID.
Yeah, pathogens don't care where you live, right? I mean, so it's like, I mean, that's coming into you whether he has a home or not.
Yeah.
They don't. I had a funny story. There was this lady at the bank, and my dad was there, and I was just in the meeting because my dad's blind and old. And the lady at the bank was telling me, like, you know, they have a limit on the number of people that can be in the bank. So sometimes they have to sort of like monitor who's there and how many people are at the tellers and how many are at the ATMs. And then they have to lock the door if it's over like 15 or something. So she was going to lock the door, and then this lady came in without a mask on, who was like 85 years old. And she comes in and she starts like, she just starts coughing and like lines up and is like really wheezing and coughing without a mask on.
Oh my God.
And then the manager came up to her and said, "I'm sorry, you're going to have to wear a mask if you're going to be in the building." And then she goes, "Oh, I can't wear a mask because I have COVID."
No.
Yeah. So she's like, "So I'm having trouble I have trouble breathing." So, and she thought that like qualified.
This is why we're all gonna die.
You thought it qualified as an exception because, you know, like if you have COPD.
Oh my God.
Like, because, you know, if you have asthma or COPD, you don't have to wear a mask. But she thought that it extended to the disease itself, that you could like have an exemption from masks if you had COVID because you had difficulty breathing from COVID.
That's hilarious if it wasn't so fucking terrifying. But like,
it's the best.
Seriously, if people that got COVID are like, no, I'm exempt from masks, I've got it.
And this old bitch is a trooper. She's 85. She has COVID. She's having a coughing fit, and she's still like, I better go and check out my savings account. I gotta see what I want to see what these withdrawals are about. I hope it's not my grandson stealing again.
Every time I see an old woman, she's got the mask, her nose out of her mask. Every time.
Yeah, just like, hey, Hitler, fucking up here. I mean,
even this summer we went to go visit my grandma, and you have to be outside. You had to be in the courtyard, and you had to be masked and everything. And my grandma would just like sit there without her mask on, and then they'd have a security guy walking around, and my dad would be like, "Mom, put your mask on," and grandma would be like, "God damn, Jesus Christ, I can't breathe with this thing."
Yeah, if my dad gets it, he's gonna die of something he can't pronounce, because he's like, he calls it covert, like he can't call it COVID. He calls it covert 18. I'm like, no, it's not barely legal fucking pathogen porn, Dad. It's, you know, like he calls it covert 18, and I'm like, no, it's not covert 18. Once you're in the hospital, you'll figure that out, you know.
Oh my God.
But he's not. Yeah, some people aren't scared of it. Some old people aren't, right? Because they're like, you know, maybe
they're gonna die soon anyway. I guess that's their thought. I don't know.
Trying to put the fire out, you know. No, I think yeah.
It's...
Well, I think the people that, you know, I mean, I hope my dad doesn't get it, but he's definitely it's weird because like I talk to a lot of people who say like, oh, I haven't seen my grandkids or whatever in 8 months. And I'm like, wow, people are dealing with this like very differently. Like for us, we're around my dad quite a bit. Like we're distanced from him, but we still go visit him. Like, because it's his decision. Because he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, still come around. I mean, if I get it, I get it, you know. But I don't know. It's weird. And some people don't want their kids around anybody that like works anywhere. They're like, oh, I don't want anybody to see my kids. Like really? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting too right now because we're going into a second lockdown, but it's not like last time where it was just like all of a sudden out of the blue, you're told to stay home. Like, it's like, okay, you guys have a week to get all the shit you want to get done. Go out and do all the shit before we lock you down. So I got a manicure and a pedicure, and then today I went to go get my lips rejouged. And it was so funny because like I walked in and it was literally like there were so many women in there just like, oh my God, I gotta get my wrinkles fixed before I go into my sweatpants time.
I can't have these Christmas lips.
How am I supposed to go on TikTok if I have any wrinkles on my forehead? Like seriously, it's like we're all getting like women at least, I don't know, we're all going and getting our hair done and everything because everyone says 4 weeks, but it's Alberta. Like we're probably gonna be in here until February.
And I know some women that are like, 48, 50 and Botoxing it a lot. And you're like, when you're like a 50-year-old woman and you're Botoxed, you look weird. You look like a cartoon. You know what I mean?
No,
Like
you don't. No,
you don't look real.
bad, I have Botox.
No, but you're not that old yet. Like you still look just like, oh, she's 38, but she looks, like you look 32,
Oh,
But when you
thank you.
get to when you
32.
get to a certain age, you look strange,
Yeah.
Even
Well,
for men,
that's from
like
doing
you're
it too
Botox
much, though.
50, you look weird.
Well, it's also if like your neck is still wrinkly, but your face is smooth. Like that's like, if you want to get this stuff done, you have to have money, or you're gonna look bad. That's the thing. Like it's very, it's expensive stuff. Like, I was talking to the girl who was doing my lips, and I asked her if anybody ever, because it hurts, like it's like needles in your lips. And I was like, has anybody ever like screamed or like, she's like, I've had people pass out. And then she's like, I had one woman who had this whole plan for filler in her face. She was going to spend thousands of dollars, like filler everywhere. She got one needle in her lip and she's like, nope, can't do this. Nope, not doing it.
Well,
It's like those.
did you see that lady? There's like a viral video of some lady that gets like a drive-by COVID test on a nasal swab, and she like absolutely loses it. Like she starts
Yes, I
flailing
have
and
seen
going
that one.
crazy. And I'm like 95% chance that bitch owns a health food store. Guaranteed she owns a health food and supplement store. There's no doubt about it. Because that's the only person that's like gonna pretend that a COVID test forced you into some kind of fucking weird convulsion, is if you're trying to sell supplements to people instead of getting a vaccine or something. Like, don't get the vaccine, come and get this fucking herb, this bark from Japan. Like, fuck off, you stupid moron.
That's also like the thing is like when everyone's like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the vaccine. I'm like, no, I want to be first round. Give it to me. I want to go to Mexico. Like,
and then
give it to me.
and that's the thing too, is like, this is where you start to see how information can just be cherry picked, right? Like 6 people died in the trials, 4 of them had placebo, and 2 of them died while they were taking it. But it's also lines up with how many people would die normally. Like if you had, just 30,000 people in the public, 6 of them would die after 6 months or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's just, but it's being used as like 6 people die, Pfizer trial, 6 people dead, like it's being used to sort of spread fear of like, you could die if you take this.
It's pretty incredible how fast they came up with the vaccine. Because I remember when this all started, they're like, oh, we're not going to have a vaccine for 3 or 4 years because that's normal. But it's like amazing, like what they can do if they really put their minds to it. Maybe they could, maybe they should try curing cancer.
And they had like a 3 or 4 year head start on trying to develop a vaccine for coronaviruses because of previous coronaviruses like H1N1 and stuff. Like, so they were kind of halfway down the road of being able to produce this vaccine before this happened. And then of course, like, yeah, like it's needed, it's necessary, whoever comes up. And I think they were working together, like some of the different groups, instead of like, okay, this is just for us and we're going to try to beat all these other people. Like they were actually sharing information to try to be able to get multiple ones done. But who knows? Yeah, like I'll take it. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
I get the flu shot.
Yeah, get it done. Get it in you.
Get it in me.
You're not. I mean,
shove that needle inside of me.
You're not getting pregnant anytime soon,
Oh my God. No, I won't allow that. I don't want. I like this is the thing. It's like going into a lockdown again. I'm starting to see my friends with kids panic, and I'm just like, yay, time with the puppies. And I'm gonna start intermittent fasting again, and I'm gonna get on my treadmill, and I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. And all my friends are like, I'm getting drunk every night when my kids go to bed.
People overblow parenting too. They're, it's overblown in terms of like, it's, like,
but this has to be the most stressful time to be a parent.
Yeah, for sure. Because your kids your kids are going nowhere. Right. Yeah. So like, instead of like, oh, you're going to so-and-so's house, or it's like, they're going nowhere.
And they're whiny.
and then how do you keep them off their devices, right? How do you not allow them to be on an iPhone or Xbox all day?
Oh, if I was a parent, I'd just be like, I'd sit them in front of a screen and let them become little mush vegetables in their brain, because I'm like, I can't think of enough crafts. I can't think of enough crafts to do with you kids.
No.
No,
I mean,
I
I'll
would
play.
not.
I have like no attention span at all, so I can't play cards. Like I can maybe play a game, and I'm dumb, so like I can play Go Fish, Double Trouble. That's it. Like I can connect 4, but I usually like just do 3. Like I can't forget chess. Like I can't do anything. I don't even play checkers.
4,
like
I usually just do 3.
yeah. Just connect 3. I got shit to do. I can't be fucking sitting here connecting 4 all day.
I don't have the attention span to connect 4.
I just connect 3, and then I play chess with 2 fucking pawns. That's it. I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, the kids are just stuck. They're just stuck at home doing absolutely fuck all. So yeah, it will. But the reason that this is going to be shittier for everybody is because this is wintertime lockdown, which is way different than summer lockdown.
Yeah.
April, May, June lockdown, you can get out of the house, do some stuff. This is like Planet Hoth, dark at 5 p.m. lockdown.
Planet Hoth. But this is what people need. They need to be stuck inside so they don't go out. They need to be forced to be inside.
Yeah, and this is, well, I mean, have you had any close calls? Like I've been in close contact with a couple people.
I haven't been around anybody physically that has had it. I know people that have had it, but I have not been around anybody that had it.
And I've had 3 tests and they were all different. Like one was a deep nasal, like the nasal one goes into your lungs.
Deep space nasal?
Yeah, I got the deep space nasal one. That was the first one. And then the next one was just like a throat one, just a little bit down your throat.
Okay.
And then the next one was like a nasal massage for 15 seconds in each nostril.
Which one? Each?
Yeah, it was really
Which one
weird.
was your favorite?
I think just the one that probably didn't even work because it was so dumb. It was just the throat one. Like a lady in Edmonton just like put a swab down my throat, like not even that far, and just like, okay, we're done.
You should have been like, oh, you can go deeper.
Oh, you can go way deeper.
I can handle it.
I can take it. I can take that full swab.
I've only had one test, and I've only had a deep space nasal one.
Oh, really?
I've only had one, yeah.
Well, but and the scary part is I got like 2 days later, I got like a text alert on my phone, and it was like AHS urgent.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh my god!
I'm dying.
And then I click on it, and it's negative, and I'm like, you don't have to do urgent. If it's negative, just say message from AHS, Sean. Read it when you have time.
You're okay.
But they put urgent. Look, you're negative. How's that urgent? There's nothing urgent about it. Nothing's even happening. How's that urgent? It just made me mad.
I'm very like if I got COVID, it'd be really bad because Adam wouldn't be able to be around me. I would just be like stuck in my. Maybe it'd be fun. It wouldn't be fun to get it. I've seen too many people talking about it and talking about like how awful it is and how sick you get. And
I mean that I mean, I know that most people recover, but the even if you look at that Funny Fest thing, it's a show at Weasel Head Pub or some shit, right? And 8 people got it. 3 of them were hospitalized.
Yeah.
Of the 8, right? So it's like 8 people. I think like I've heard more stuff about how there's 4 strains and there's one that's like not good and the other 3 are kind of mild, or I don't know how accurate that information is, but yeah, like a Superspreader comedy event where 3 people are hospitalized, that's like, okay, I guess I really don't want to get that.
No, you don't really want to get it. Like, it's not like something that and I don't know. So, well, it's like the chicken pox. You get it once, you can't get it again. I'm like, who knows? Nobody knows that.
Well, and the funny thing is, the only press Stu can get, he has to be like laying on his stomach, lifting a ventilator up, saying 100 free ticket. Like, hey, Hey, everybody, come to the Funny Fest. 10,000 laughs, 400 comedians. Anyways, I can only take this thing off for 10 seconds, move, and then back up. 100 free tickets for anybody that saves my life. So that's the press that he's able to generate, is he has to be fucking on death's door with COVID to get. And they were actually using Funny Fest promo. Like the guy was reading like off a script in the global clip.
Yeah.
And he's saying things like, not as many comedians, but just as many laughs this year at Funny Fest. It was like doing a promo for this.
I heard
like,
that part and I laughed a little.
Laying in an ICU,
Oh my God. It's such a mess. Did anything happen to you non-COVID related at all recently?
I don't know if anything really has, I've been just kind of lazing around.
Yeah.
Like I do, like I walk every day and stuff, but I don't know. Like I was on a plane, I flew, what happened is I was flying to Toronto and I like wore my CPAP on the plane.
You
and
wore
it was fantastic. It was
on
fantastic.
the plane?
Yeah. Like
So you wouldn't snore around people?
Yeah, and I slept the whole time.
That's amazing.
It was the best thing that's ever happened. I just had my little hose and like had 2 masks on, like my normal mask and then that mask over. So I'm sure people were like, is that guy fucking an idiot? Like
you should have been like, guys, sorry, I have COVID. I'm just trying to keep it in.
They probably actually, to be honest with you, this whole COVID thing has made me think like maybe germophobia is not real, because Trump was a germaphobe theoretically, apparently, and then suddenly didn't give a shit about it. Stu Hughes, the Funny Fest organizer, noted germaphobe for like 15 years, and then suddenly there's a pandemic and he doesn't give a shit, doesn't wear a mask. So I'm starting to think like nobody's actually a germaphobe. It's just people that were fucking pretending until 2020.
If
Somebody email Howie Mandel.
Yeah. What's that?
Somebody email Howie Mandel.
It's over.
I'm not a germaphobe. I don't know. I have nothing else. There's nothing to do right now. I just go to work. Nobody comes in. I literally sit around all day. And my coffee shop job, I'm like, are we closing? And she's like, well, they want us to stay open. I'm like, for what? And she's like, for curbside pickup. Really? I'm like, curbside pickup? Do you know how many curbside pickups we get a day? Like 4. Nobody needs
open for that shit. That's insane.
I don't know. I'm finding out tomorrow if they're closing, and then the restaurant is going to take out and delivery only. And I'm on call in case it gets busy. But I don't know. Thank God Adam has a job that is actually good, or we'd be so fucked right now.
Yeah, well, he's up there still, right?
Yeah, he's up there until Tuesday. He comes back, so I go to Calgary on Monday and pick him up. And then he comes home for Christmas, and then he leaves on the 28th for a month. There was a guy on his plane that had COVID. He wasn't showing any symptoms. So
he says.
Yeah, so he says. But everyone got temperature checked on the way on the plane.
Fucking mouthful of halls.
Just a bunch of fishermen's friends.
Got just 18 hulls in his mouth so he doesn't cough until he gets there.
But he's like, so everybody gets tested when they get there? Because it's like, can you imagine if an outbreak happened at a camp in the middle of nowhere? So they have a whole bunch of I don't know what it looks like, but I guess there's a bunch of look like portables, I guess maybe. And there's tons of rooms in there. So they have a quarantine area where and if you have it and you go up there, you have to stay up there for 2 weeks, and they only fly in twice a month, in and out. So you're literally up there for 2 months or a month and a half.
Wow.
If you get COVID.
How's he liking it so far?
He likes it. He's just hold on, I just got low battery mode. Why is it low battery? I have my thing plugged in. I hope I don't die.
You better not fucking die.
Not from COVID, from battery loss. Oh, I didn't plug it in.
You didn't?
Oops. Hold on.
One of my favorite things on Facebook is when I'm noticing it more lately is people that think that they're being they can't tell the truth, trying to tell the truth about things, mostly conspiracy guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell the truth, but fucking Zuckerberg, he's scared of my truth. And it's like, do you honestly think that any of your posts have ever been disseminated by anybody who made more than minimum wage? Like, are you insane? Every person who's ever read your post and like blocked it or taken it down or edited it or whatever, they were in a high-tech sweatshop in fucking Bangladesh making whatever the minimum wage is there, and they got an alert and they fucking read your stupid fucking COVID post and looked at their list of English words that can't be on there and then ban. And then, you know, the person will put a picture of Zuckerberg with like, you know, Satan horns. And it's like,
Oh my
dude,
Lord.
it's nobody's reading your shit. It's somebody that makes fucking 16 cents an hour and saw a word that was flagged and just took it down. Like, it's got nothing to do with the elites trying to fucking take you down. They don't give a shit about you.
I like social media is so awful. Like I kind of got back into TikTok because I got sucked in. I like just started watching it one night, and it's like, it's so awful. Like it's such a crazy app. Like it's like everybody on there thinks that they're a celebrity. If they have like there are people that have like hundreds of thousands of followers that are just like regular people. But then they're like, I was listening to this one guy go, yeah, I'm going to have a meet and greet. I'm like, you're going to have a meet and greet? You're just a dude that dances on TikTok and people, you're going to have a meet and greet? Like these people think they're celebrities. And they like, I'm addicted to going into their lives and just like asking weird questions, and they like take everything so seriously. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I can't get any traction on there. I don't know. Well, I know what I did.
What did you do?
Well, when I first got the TikTok, that makes me sound very old. When I first got the TikTok,
when I first got rickets,
there was like a challenge where you're supposed to like walk in on your partner and have the camera on them, and like you're supposed to be naked and you're supposed to get their reaction. And on Easter Sunday, I got really drunk and I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I did it, but I forgot that there was a mirror at the end of my hallway. And so I'm like walking down the hallway and I posted it because I was like blackout drunk. And then like,
oh my God. And
I
then
was very naked.
And then you lost 6 OnlyFans subscribers overnight.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, that's what she really looks like?
Apparently you just got to follow this bitch on TikTok. You don't have to pay for it.
Oh my God, that was, but yeah, so I posted that, and then I was drunk, and I guess I found out that they took it down. So then I started ranting on, I had videos of like me, like, I can't show my nipples. I see men's nipples everywhere, but I can't show. It was, so I think I got something called shadow ban, which I looked up, and it means
the TikTok, and so you make everything on the internet sound like a disease. I got the TikTok, and something called a shadow ban washed over my head.
Yeah, I didn't get the coronavirus, but I got the shadow ban.
Some type of shadow ban. The radiologist said it was called shadow ban.
Which is really hard for a narcissist like me because I want attention. But that's the other thing too. Shadows. There's a lot of talk on there about like dealing with narcissists and dealing with gaslighting. And every time I see people talking about that, I'm like, you're literally on TikTok. You are a narcissist. Nobody's on that app posting and is not completely narcissistic. Like it's crazy that these people don't see.
Well, you do it under the guise of self-help, so it just looks like you're an altruistic person who's trying to help other people. Like, hey, everybody, I did it, so can you. Here's how I did it. Like, I'm just trying to help people. And it's like,
yeah,
no, you're showing me your big house and your fancy, you know what I mean? Like, this is all under the guise of self-help, but it's like, look at me, bitch. I can do it. You probably can't. Like, whenever somebody says, I can do it, if I can do it, anybody can. What they're really saying is, I did it. Good luck, fuckface. Because I don't think you've got the fucking stones to pull off what I did. And then they flex, you know?
There's also body positivity wars on there.
Oh,
and it's
God.
like, it's like fights between big girls. And like, so there's one challenge where you're supposed to be like, oh, look how fat I am or something. And it's like all these skinny girls are doing it. And like, and then now the big girls are like, that's not your challenge, that's our challenge. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys all sound like idiots. Like, you all sound like idiots.
I wish every skinny chick got fat and every fat chick was bulimic. You know what I mean? Like, I just wish they just
do a Freaky Friday, right?
Yeah, do a Freaky Friday. We should do a
Yeah.
movie about that where a fat chick thinks she's like, oh, I don't look very good. Like, it's weird because why
Isn't
does
that Shallow Hal?
why isn't it like skinny girls are like, I'm fat, and fat girls are like, I'm skinny? You know, like it's a weird thing that happens to female brains. We're like, I'm big and beautiful. I'm skinny and fat and gross, and I gotta keep puking. No, you don't. You're fine. I don't. Do you know how many guys with it? Like, I think I had sort of like.
Oh, there's a male body positivity movement on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like,
there's lots of them. Sean, I don't recommend going on TikTok because you will. The cringe factor alone, just watching all the videos is what has got me. Like, I don't watch it to be entertained. I watch it to be like, this person. Oh, God.
Is there what I've predicted since the beginning of our podcast? Like, there's some kind of small penis body positivity movement that's going to start where a guy's like, I have a small penis. Here it is. And it's
look it up.
And it's fucking gorgeous. And then a bunch of girls are like, yeah, I love your tiny dick. It's so cute.
I'm tiny penis positive.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind sucking on that little baby's thumb.
I'm not. I'm not tiny penis positive. No.
You're not penis positive at all.
I'm not penis positive at all. No. I mean, I love
negative.
Penises, but I don't like treating them with respect.
No. That is one of the weird things is that like your penis doesn't get bigger if you eat more because there'd be way more fat guys if that happened.
It gets smaller.
No, it does. Yeah, because your body grows and your penis
and then it gets smaller.
Yeah, it looks smaller.
Yeah, like it's still bigger inside, but you got a big fat pouch around it.
Yeah, but you don't gain a lot of dick from losing weight though.
No.
Like you could go from like 400 pounds to skinny and
you don't get a huge giant cock.
No, if you're 4 inches, now you're 4 1/16 inches. You know what I mean? You're not going from, like you're not going from, I guess I'll watch TV to squirting. You know what I mean? Like
there's like a micro penis like movement.
Is there really?
I bet you there is. There's gotta be micro penis pride. There's gotta be like, just so that they feel better about themselves.
Yeah, micro pride. I guess so.
Yeah, micro penis pride. But I mean, there's something for everybody out there. I mean, some ladies don't want a giant penis. Some ladies like to point and laugh.
Well, yeah, I imagine some of them are like, I don't really want to fuck, like mostly like kind of like borderline asexual women.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't really like fucking, and if I'm gonna take one, it might as well be like a little guy. Might as well be a big pencil. I need to, let's get this over with.
A big pencil. Do you want to know the weirdest penis I ever saw?
What's that?
It was like, I like the way this happens because like we get Jim's reactions. Sometimes he looks completely bored, like he's not paying attention at all, but sometimes he's giggling.
I like Jim in studio better because then if it's like if the podcast is going good. But on this, it's like I don't know if this is just me and Kathleen opening our fucking diaries. What was the weirdest penis you ever saw?
The weirdest penis I ever saw was like this bit long, but like this thick.
That's not real.
It was.
First of all, that was a triangle.
Now, I can't.
It was like this.
It was a vagina. No, it was just a big clit. Turned out it was a woman.
It was like this.
It was weird. Like short and very thick, like a soup can kind of.
Was
like
it enjoyable?
No, I couldn't do anything with it.
No, it couldn't go in.
Well, no, because it was like so weird. Like it was too short to do anything. Like I mean, I'm a girth fan, but you have to have a little bit of length. You can't just be all girth, no length.
Yeah, you can't just be a stubby stump.
No, it was the weird. I didn't even know that penises like that existed. And
you had a lot in pornography.
But I've never seen a little short stumpy dick like that. And I'm not over exaggerating. It was like really, really like thick.
Did you say anything in the moment, or did you just go, "Oh, hey,
Yeah, I went, oh, very nice.
hey, there you go"? Like, did you say anything like, "That's weird," or
No, that's weird. No,
so you
you
just
don't
like, "All
say
right,
that.
well,
No, you
we'll
just
try. I guess we'll give it a try."
pretend you're having a good time and you go home.
It's funny because yeah, women don't know. It's very much for girls. It's very much like, "Oh my God, I have a flat tire. Does this
Yeah.
car have a spare?" And then you go and open it up, and you're like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes! Look at this tiny fucking wheel."
I want to know what a weird vagina looks like.
Yeah. What does a weird one look like?
Like, I don't know.
Weird ones?
Jim, have you ever seen a weird vagina?
I
I wonder
mean,
if she asks Jim because she.
Oh, Sean, you've been
Jim's
just forever.
seen vaginas.
it's like a lot.
I don't know.
Of
I
skin.
don't know if anyone has listened to this podcast for a while, but you're the one that's always like, I don't do that. I don't look at
I
vaginas.
don't know what's going on with girls down in their drainage area, down in their ditch,
Drainage area.
down in their little fucking culvert.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know they had 2 holes. Yeah, I don't know if there's any. There's got to be. Well, has Jim seen any weird ones? That's a good question.
Like maybe just like there's like a lot of skin or something.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones that looks like.
Yeah, like a roast beef sandwich from the side.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. Yeah, like that weird the frilliness out. Like if you were making a music video and you like put a fan on it and then dance, it would just be like it would just kind of like look really, fucking strange. Like one of those things you see at a car dealership, the thing that goes, your pussy just kind of like has 2 hands that go up.
Blowing in the wind.
Yeah.
Wacky waving inflatable arm guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, wacky waving inflatable vagina.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. I always thought it was there for protection,
What was there? The frills?
The frillers. Yeah, the wacky hands. Just in case.
I did see a stripper once and she had one of those weird like barfy vaginas. It was just like
Barfy.
I heard somebody describe it as like chewed gum.
Oh.
Yeah. Is there a thing girls can do like to plump it up like they do with their lips?
I'm sure there's some sort of thing.
I'm sure strippers talk about it. Oh, you can get Botox for your puss. Just
what do guys want? Like would guys rather have a plump vagina or one of those little?
It should look like a Muppet's mouth sideways.
Okay, so that's a good vagina.
Yeah,
frills or no frills.
Frills or no frills. Yeah, exactly. Frills or no frills. Yeah, you got to go Superstore.
Yeah, because I always said. Somebody said mine was like a saloon door.
Yeah, because there's always trouble in there. Bring your 6-shooter. She loves girth and a little length. Just 2 cowboys in there, and a tumbleweed flows through, and they shoot each other.
You know what I thought about the other day? And I wasn't even high when I thought of this. I was like, I'm going to become a ventriloquist that wears a mask.
Oh, that is a good idea. You wear the mask. Does the dummy wear the mask? No.
The dummy can talk. The dummy is an anti-masker.
I would do it a weird way where I would make the dummy wear a mask, and then I would be like, so then people would just really focus on my mouth. That's how you know a ventriloquist is good. When the dummy's mouth is masked and his isn't. And so you can't focus on the dummy's mouth. You just look at his lips all pursed up like, well, when are we going to the store? It's clearly coming out of his mouth. How do you get good at ventriloquism? Like, how do you fucking train that? How do you build that skill?
It's just like talking
like,
from the
try
back
it right
of your throat.
now without moving your mouth. Say, I don't know.
Well, you froze right now, so it worked.
Can you do it? Is that
you
my internet that's bad,
so
or
it
yours?
actually looked like you were doing it really well because I could only hear you, but your face wasn't moving. So that's another
Yeah,
way
because
to become a
sometimes
ventriloquist. Be a Zoom ventriloquist and just have it freeze whenever you're talking.
yeah, like thinking Zoom comedy is hard is what makes us look really old, I think. I think younger people are like, who cares? You're sitting, talk, do your thing,
No, I think it's like comics that aren't used to hearing laughter that are loving Zoom.
Yeah, they're able to just flip it into actor.
If you don't get a ton of laughs, like it's not going to be hard to go through your set without hearing laughter.
So, yeah, I did a show in, like, I was only in LA for like maybe 2 weeks in my life, but I did these 2 shows that were from it was at the Ice House or something. And nobody, like, there was 2 shows and no one was there. Like, it was being filmed for this thing called Comedy Time or something, which I don't know why I ever did it.
Was that Steve Hofstetter thing?
Maybe, I don't know, but it was like, so it was being filmed and there was me and 7 other people. And literally no one was in the crowd. There was no one. And I was like, okay, I guess we're not doing this. And they're like, oh no, this is how we do it. Like, we're taping it. And
God, this is how they do it? They never have a crowd?
Oh, usually nobody comes. Like, we do these comedy time tapings like once a month, and usually nobody comes. And then, so I'm up there and, like, I'm like, this is insane. Like, and I'm talking about how stupid it is. Like, what are we doing here? And then that was the other thing. They're like, okay, do your 7 minutes, and then do a jokey joke. And I'm like, do a jokey joke? And they're like, yeah, here's a list of jokey jokes. Like, they wanted you to tell a street joke.
Oh my God.
And then, and then I'm like, no, because I guarantee you're just going to use the street joke. Like, I'll do my 7-minute set and then I'll tell a street joke and then you'll throw that on the internet. Here's this guy.
Yeah, and that'll be on tape.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But then the other 7 that were on the show went up and just did like full, like they were on fucking Conan. Like, it was like they just did their full set with, like, they would pretend the crowd was laughing and that they were like engaging a laughing crowd, and then they would start laughing at theoretical laughter that wasn't happening. And
that's LA Comics.
I was like, holy shit, like, I'm in the wrong.
But those are comics that are actually actors more than they are comics.
Well, and some of them were just like comics that were like, this is how you do it. Like,
yeah,
you better get used to being able to throw that down and not even care what an audience is doing. It's just got to be so locked in that you can deliver it perfectly every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, this is insane.
No, I don't want to ruin my love of comedy by doing it on Zoom. Like, I think I have to do something around Christmas time on Zoom, but I don't know how it's working. So I hope it's not going to be awful, but I would start hating stand-up, I think, if I had to keep doing it on Zoom, because it's not the same as being in front of, even like doing it in the clubs half capacity. Like, the last weekend I did was in Calgary. I headlined Yucks the weekend before you were supposed to. Mm-hmm. And it was fun. Like, both crowds weren't huge, but they were really fun. And I'm glad that was my last experience before everything got canceled again. But I would end up hating stand-up if I had to do it via Zoom. And when people go online, they're like, I actually love doing it on Zoom. I'm like, sure you do.
Yeah, it's easier than I thought it would be, but it just, like, it has to be like crowd work. It has to be like, if I'm just sitting there and, like, the other day my kid said, like, that's insane. Like, me just sitting there pretending I'm funny. But you can, like, I would see like 7 or 8 faces and then I'd just be like, oh, look at Jim, like, what are you doing there, buddy? And then just, like, talk to that guy. It's like, so it's almost like a corporate where, like, as long as these people know each other, it's not that bad, because you can just, like, pick a guy out and be like, hey, Doug, how long you been bald? Or, like, do whatever. And everybody's like, Doug is bald. And it's been quite some time that he has been. Because I think I'd said to him, like, how long have you been bald? And he's like, I'm not telling you. And I'm like, because it looks like a long time. It really does. You look like you've been long bald.
Bald.
Like, you're a long balder. I was like, you've been bald since you were 7. Look at that fucking head. So as long as you can do, like, crowd work, So I would do like self-deprecating, like I'm an idiot and look at how fat and gross I am and who would fuck this? And then I go, and look at this bald fucking loser, So you make fun of yourself physically and then you cut down the second ugliest guy there.
But do you do any material?
A little bit, like you splice in like, Doug reminds me of my mom. Here's a joke. But yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like there was one that I did where, like I said, there was like a text thread where some people were saying like, let me know when this guy's done. He sucks. And I was like, what am I doing here? This is the worst. And they were like, you need to, are you close? Are you really far from your router? Like, so that was the very first one I did. And I was like, I'll never do this again. And then I did another one and I'm like, oh, it's actually not that bad. Like you just do
I guess that's like bad road gigs, right? Like you'll get one that's awful and then you'll get some that are just like, oh, this is okay. And then you'll get one that's like, oh, that was actually fun.
And you kind of need to like, okay, normally I would have to drive to Grand Prairie to do a show like this. And now I'm doing it in my house. So maybe I need to dedicate like 10 minutes to finding out a little bit more information about this company,
Well, that is like the total, like that, when I see comics saying that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like I don't have to drive 6 hours to do this corporate, sit alone in my hotel room after, and then go home. I can just like sit in my basement for half an hour, do it, and then I'm back with my family. Like, that's the cool thing about all this, but I still like, it still just feels so fucking weird.
The best is that Jeffrey Toobin, did we talk about that? He got caught jerking off on Zoom.
What?
Yeah, he was like a CNN legal analyst and had been for like 35 years. He was like their head legal analyst. He was on tons. And he was like doing a Zoom meeting for the New Yorker magazine or something, because he's one of the writers. And I guess it was like you, where there was a mirror or something. So like he was on
a mirror.
Like, well, you know how like you said you were on TikTok and there was a mirror that you weren't aware of and it showed you naked.
Oh, okay.
So he was on his laptop like in a Zoom meeting with a bunch of journalists.
And he was jerking off during the meeting while he was talking?
There was like a mirror over here and they could see a reflection of him like jerking off in the meeting.
Who does that?
Jeffrey Toobin.
Well, I know like you always see that people like, oh, like I'll wear like a professional top.
5% of all men. I would say the number's got to be about 5% of all men have masturbated during a Zoom meeting with a female for a business. Like, they were wearing a tie and a suit and they were talking about, third quarter numbers and they were jerking off while they were doing that. 5%. Where's the
weirdest place that you've masturbated?
Me? No, I'm not in the 5%.
No, but where is the weirdest place that you've masturbated?
That I have? Driving, I guess.
Me too.
Yeah, you gotta do it driving once in a while. Once in your life, you should do it while you're driving.
You should. Everybody should masturbate at least once while they're driving.
Usually on a highway, right? Make sure you're going 120.
You know which one I liked? I did it.
Can't do it in a school zone because then
No.
That's or parked. You can't be parked or in a school zone. That's creepy.
I did it on not like a big highway, like on a one way, right? Like you're on one lane and then the traffic coming is right there. It was a rush. All these people driving by, I'm like, they don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it. I was just like, I wonder if I can. And I did. And I was able to.
I wonder if I can. Hey, you know what?
Lots of people.
I normally drive with one hand.
I bet you lots of people have masturbated while driving.
I'm sure, yeah. It's got to be like Jim. Has Jim? You can just.
Yeah, Jim, have you?
I've never tried that.
You should. Like, come on, that's insane.
I've never thought like, oh, I'm on the road, may as well crank one out. Like, what would happen with the the explosion? It would just go on your steering wheel.
That's what I'm wondering for guys.
You've got a floor mat, right?
Quickly Kleenex it with the other hand and switch to the.
No, you just ejaculate onto the floor mat and then go to a car wash and put it up on those pegs and wash it off.
The worst part is that Sean rents a lot of cars.
Imagine putting them up on the pegs and someone else sees that and they're like, "Did you spill yogurt?"
Yes.
Oh no!
I was eating yogurt while I was driving and it got everywhere.
Yeah. Oh.
No, mine would look like I spilled fucking, you know, like I stopped too fast and spilled like a tiny bit of water.
One time I used a hot tub jet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, like a Japanese tourist.
Yes.
No, the only reason I say that is because that used to be an epidemic at my local pool.
Yeah.
There was a hot tub, and like we had these like Japanese exchange students and everybody knew they did it because they would make like a ring around all the fucking jets.
Like together? They would do it as a group?
Well, it's just like clear what they were all doing because, you know, usually what happens is somebody will pretend that they're monitoring something in another part of the pool. That's how usually the system of masturbating using a hot tub jet works, is you sit facing it, but you make it look like you're trying to watch for a child in the wave pool.
Yeah.
But these guys, some of them were like facing the jet and facing like a fucking, you know, like just a wall. And you're like, what does that guy think he's getting away with? Like facing the jet, looking at a wall, you know?
Can guys use those? I guess the jet would be powerful. I don't know. I've only ever done it once.
I'm sure it's not sanitary.
No, it's not. Definitely not. Especially in a hotel hot tub.
So you did it. You did it all the way through. Like you got. Yep, I did it. And then you got out of the hot tub. Did you get out of the hot tub?
I was determined.
Were there other people in the hot tub?
I was with a guy that I met on Tinder while I was on tour, and he dared me to do it.
He dared you to do it?
Yeah, and I took the dare and I did it.
Wow.
He bought me dinner.
I mean, that's why guys couldn't do it on a Tinder date, because we'd be like, okay, it was nice meeting you, and then like shake their hand and leave the pool and fucking go get Subway and go to sleep, you know? The Tinder date would be over if we took that challenge.
Well, no, if she dared you,
you'd be like, yeah, okay. And then as soon as you finish, you're like, okay. That's
you're too tired from being in the hot tub?
Like, all right, I guess I don't need her anymore. I'm going to go home and make a rump roast. We had the weirdest Tinder date. We were in a hot tub and I dared him to use the jet. And then 3 minutes later, he convulsed for a second and left. And then left. Just leaves her there in the fucking hot tub.
Filled with his semen.
I don't know about filled with, but yeah. Imagine if you were in a hot tub and you found out it was actually 100% semen.
Oh my God. You would not get in that hot tub. You would feel it before someone told you. You wouldn't just sit in the hot tub and be like, you know you're in a tub of cum? And you'd be like, what? You know? Cum does not feel like water.
It doesn't look like water either.
Yeah, but you've never tried to walk through it. You don't really know how
through a cum ocean?
Yeah, you never like tried to swim. Maybe it is like water.
How much are you coming?
No.
This podcast has been good. It's mostly coronavirus and cum.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we talk about.
That's it. That's all we talk about. I did buy a lottery ticket too.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Because we can't not have a lottery ticket.
No, we should have a lottery ticket.
Our number one fan, Dick, was like, when are you guys going to do more podcasts? And I'm like, well, when I can pay for the Zoom account. And I finally paid for it.
I like the fact that he's the only person that asked. Just like one dude was like, when are you guys going to do another podcast? Everybody else is like, yeah, I mean, fuck, it's about time they took a breather.
You don't really need to keep going.
You talk about his cum and COVID. It's gross.
This is what people want.
What do you think there's no actual fans of the podcast. There's just people that accidentally tune in. It's not like we're fucking Sam Harris. If we started a Patreon account and said, hey, everybody, you can only
have a Patreon account.
No, but if we did like, okay, you can only get this via Patreon. That's where you find out exactly where the fuck you stand with the general public.
Oh, we should try that for like a month.
No, we shouldn't, because you know how many fucking, you know how demoralizing that would be? It'd be like when you get a terminal illness and then 9 months later your GoFundMe has only raised $114. That's exactly what it would feel like.
But how much are you asking in your GoFundMe?
You get pancreatic cancer and you're like, oh, well, at least my GoFundMe will be through the roof. And it's like, no, a guy you helped move 7 fucking times donated $14. And that's what it would be like for us, that feeling of like opening a Patreon account and saying you can only get this content if you pay for it. We would have like maybe 3 people.
And they'd be like, oh, I thought this was our OnlyFans.
So it's better to just leave it out available to anybody and then pretend that a whole bunch of people would listen to it, you know?
Why don't we put our podcast on OnlyFans?
Oh, see that? Now you're thinking.
Yeah, and then you got to post topless pictures, Sean.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'm sure that's what the subscribers would be looking for. Imagine how fucking crazy those people would be that wanted to see that from me. Think about
I don't know. I think that like have I ever told you about my business idea?
What's that?
Have I ever told you about my business idea?
What is your business idea?
I want to start like a stripping agency called Average Joe's Strippers and just hire
yeah.
regular dudes. Because anytime I've ever gone to the strippers, like it's gross. Like I don't. But I've been once where there was like a guy that was like a bigger dude, but he was hilarious, and I'm like, this is the most fun. And I think that women would rather like have a great time with a dad bod with a personality than some like big dumb like muscle monkey.
I think, yeah, I mean, if you had like a, you know, like a 12-inch penis and you were like a stripper, then wouldn't you just take that off and stand there?
Yeah, that's all you'd have to do.
Like, I don't have to dance. Look.
But strippers with giant boobs still have to dance.
Not as well. Let's be honest. They don't have to dance as well.
That's a very valid point.
They can just kind of touch the pole and twirl. They don't have to fucking climb it and get upside down.
I think that guy strippers should have to pole dance.
That would look fucking bizarre.
You think that male stripping doesn't already look fucking bizarre? Like they literally skip around the stage. It's not like Magic Mike. It's very rare that you get like a Magic Mike grinding down. You get like a guy skipping around in his underwear.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, I've been to strippers twice. I think I talked about it on the last podcast, but I have been to strippers twice, and both times I'm like, this is the most ridiculously bad thing. I'd rather go to the lady strippers.
I've always avoided them. You know, when guys want to go to lady strippers, I've always been like, let's go anywhere else. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what if we're the only people there? That's what always freaks me out. Like, I don't want to be, it's just us and this girl who's like trapped.
And you get extra attention.
From what? From who?
From this girl who's being paid to give you attention.
Because they're devastated. They're like, fuck. It's just these fucking guys. They don't look like they've fucked in their lives.
Or have money.
Or have money.
Or have money.
We did not win.
Look at these fucking broke virgins. I'm sure they're going to fucking rain down a loony hailstorm on me. I'm too scared to like give her money. Like, I don't know. I don't really want a poster. Who would I give it to?
Jana used to work at Office Depot, and strippers used to come in all the time to get their posters and keychains and stuff made, and they'd always pay in loonies and toonies, and they'd just like dump them on the counter, and she'd just be like, oh god.
Yeah. And then they look at Jana and they're like, careful, these 3 are still hot. Oh man. World Alberta strippers. Getting fucking molten pennies tossed at them.
There's a hotel that we're gonna be staying at because it's right by the airport. So when I take Adam down to Calgary, and one of the rooms they have, it's like $500 a night, but it has like a circle bed, and it's got like a stripper pole and a jacuzzi, and I'm like, I really want to see this room.
Wow. So
it's for like bachelorette parties.
So you guys doing that for Christmas? Like you're doing like going to a hotel for Christmas?
No, we were talking about it, but we're like, no, let's save our money and like go somewhere real when we can go somewhere. Yeah. Because we were talking about going to like Canmore or something. Oh, if I find a deal, we might go. But like the place we want to stay is like for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to stay 2 nights, it's like $700.
Whoa,
that's too much.
That's a little much. There's a certain amount of money that I can't spend without.
Yeah.
You know, because I always have that future me in my brain where I'm like, in 2024, when you're driving a fucking cab, you're going to look back on this and be like, remember that night you spent $750 for fucking 2 nights in some fucking dump with a balcony in Canmore? You piece of
Exactly.
shit. And then I'll stare at myself in my rear view mirror as I go to the airport to pick up another fucking piece of shit. I'll be like, you fucking stare at myself and scream coward into the rear view mirror.
I love how you think that there's still going to be cabs in 2024.
Oh, there will be.
No, it'll be
Uber
Teslas.
can't take over.
No, they're going to be Teslas. And they're going to be self-driving Teslas, and you're just going to order it, and you're going to get in and go. It's happening.
It's not going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen in a few years.
No.
Teslas are already here. The self-driving Teslas are already here because I've been looking, and I'm like, I really want one. And I was like, it's like, for the one I want, it's like $70,000. I'm never going to get one, but it self-drives.
Is it really? Like fully self-driving Tesla for, wow, that's insane.
Yeah, like I rode in a Tesla once. It wasn't a self-driving Tesla, but you could take your hands off the wheel and just kind of relax. You can't like go to sleep or anything, but the new ones, I think you can actually like go to sleep. Yeah, although I don't think you're supposed to. Can you imagine just like falling asleep as you're leaving Leduc and then just like coming to an Airdrie and be like, what
the first thing I want to see is like two self-driving two human beings that are sleeping in self-driving cars get into a fender bender. And then they have to get out of their cars and look at each other like, what the fuck was your car doing? What was my car doing? What the fuck was your car doing? You know, like two people arguing about, you know, whose fucking software failed for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
There's got to be, you know, is there self-driving vehicles now? Like I know there's self-driving trucks on the road, but there's self-driving cars. Like, people are driving them in
Teslas. You can order one. You have to put $2,500 down and then get some sort of financing through them, I guess. I don't know how you do it, but like they're out. You can order one today.
I can't wait until there's like some Tesla dealership, like an old used self-driving Tesla in the year 2050, where you're like, well, she still purrs like a kitten, and you know, like doesn't drive by herself anymore, needs a little help, but she still limps around town. Let me tell you something.
I used Tesla salesman
in 2050, trying to sell the original self-driving Tesla in 2057. Like, old Betty still runs, she does, but you know, hasn't been self-driving for 20 years, but she still gets around town. She'll get your groceries.
See, I've heard that no one's going to own cars anymore.
What do you do then?
There's just going to be a fleet of Teslas, and you order it, and you say, I got to go here. It picks you up and drops you off, and no one's going to have their own car anymore.
But what if you love trucks?
Then you're fucked, Wayne.
And what if you have a pride in ownership? No, Alberta will be the lowest self-driving car province.
Oh, absolutely. They already they hate them here because they don't use oil.
Well, they're just gonna be like, fucking, I'm not letting 5G run my fucking car. Bill Gates is gonna send me over a cliff. So yeah, no, it's gonna be the lowest self-driving car province ever. People are like, I like to be in command when I'm going to Mundare to pick up sausage. That's too bad.
Oh my God. Are you allowed to talk about why you're in Toronto?
I don't know. I don't think I can yet, to be honest with you.
Have you been like quarantining there? Like how long have you been there?
The funny thing is now we're making it sound like I've got some big fucking project.
Don't worry, guys. It's nothing big.
Sean's got a big show business secret. No, he doesn't. He's in Burlington for a child's funeral.
He's headlining the Burlington Coat Factory.
Actually, I was walking today and I saw a Yuck Yucks. There must have been a Burlington.
There
Yuck
was.
At this point. Was there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw like a little yuck sign. That little sign, I saw it. It's like a Starbucks to me. Like when you're a comedian, that's like, you know, like a normal person seeing a Starbucks 3 blocks away. I'm like, that's a Yuck Yucks. And everybody that was around me was like, what's a Yuck Yuck? And I'm like, no, it's a Yuck Yucks. You know, it's 900 meters away, but I can see it. I can fucking feel it.
It's like the bad signal.
I know laughter happened in there. Not much on some nights, but
I think I was supposed to headline that club once, and then they were like, so it's down to like one show on the weekend. And I'm like, I'm going to stay in Toronto an extra like 5 days to do one show. I'm like, no, give it to Brian Hatt.
Give it to Brian Hatt. There's always somebody that'll take it. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I never did the Burlington Yuck Yucks, but I remember getting asked to do one run where they were like, and it wasn't Yuck Yucks, but I was like, we do like a show on Thursday for fun. So why don't you come on by Thursday? And you know, whenever somebody says for fun, you know that means no money at all.
Yeah.
So you're like, excuse me, what does this for fun mean? Like, oh yeah, it's not a budgeted show. Like, well, then it's not fun, right? Like,
yeah.
How can I have fun on a show I'm not getting paid for, you fucking moron?
Where was that television show tape? What was that show called? With I almost said Guy Fieri. What's his name? Ben Diet. You remember that show?
Oh, fuck yeah. It might have been Burlington.
I think it was taped in Burlington. What was it called?
Comedy Club 54.
Yes. Oh my God. Are those on the internet? Because I would love to go. Oh my God. Because there's some.
I actually think Tim Coslow did one.
Oh my God. I'm gonna go watch it with Tim Coslow's son.
I think, yeah, I believe Tim Coslow did one.
Almost every Canadian comedian in the 90s did one, for sure.
Oh, I mean, it was the ultimate. It was one of the very first sort of Canadian rip-offs that, you know, I'm sure
of improv, right?
No, just in terms of like ripping off Canadian artists.
Oh.
Because I think, like, you know, he owned that material and put it out in perpetuity. Like, you know, he owned all that material and it was played on television, like national television, right? Like,
and they probably got like $500 to do it.
And I think it paid like $250.
Oh my God.
Like a 30-minute spot for $250, and then Ben Guyatt got to put it on television and owned it.
Oh my God.
So it was the first time where Canadian, you know, and it was probably, you know, like, hey, guess what? These motherfuckers are so desperate to be on television that they're willing to do it for nothing.
Yeah.
And then all you got to tell them is like, well, it's great exposure. You're on TV, and then you're going to have a fan base, and then you're going to get your dick sucked every Tuesday at open mics. And these guys are like, in the back hallway? Like, no, in your car. Like, you're not fucking Bill Burr. So those guys did it.
It's a credit.
They did it. They were like $250, eh? And then they went and it was such a bad, like, it was all poorly lit and laid out.
Oh, it was awful.
Like, it was the worst. Yeah, people should look it up. I'm gonna look it up as soon as we're done talking.
Me too. I'm gonna go look up
Comedy Club 54, Uncle Jim Cos. Jim Cosby.
I think we should both do our research and find our favorite set, and just I mean, they're on YouTube, so they're open, so we should just put it on the podcast.
Do your research, Kathleen. I mean,
we should do more research.
Do your fucking research.
I haven't checked our reviews in a while.
You should be able to catch up with a scientist in probably 3 days, I think, if you cram. You should.
Oh my God.
That's why we're more fucked up now than we were before, because, like, you know, in 1918, during the pandemic, if an epidemiologist said this is what we should be doing, the average person couldn't be like, fuck you, and go to a library and like start reading through giant textbooks that are dense language, and like they would be like, fuck these scientists, and then they would go to the library and read a half a science book and be like, fuck.
Yeah, I guess they know what they're talking about.
I guess I'll listen to them. But with the internet, it's like, now somebody can take all this sort of information, make it very easily digestible, and then you can consume enough that you can like nail talking points, and you know 7 bigger words than the average person does. So you can throw that into it, and then suddenly you look like, you know, if you had 2 people on a panel and one was an epidemiologist and one was an anti-masker who had done 3 weeks worth of internet research, they would kind of like look like equals on television for a 3-minute spot, you know, and they do. And that's what we see often. We see like an epidemiologist talking and then somebody else talking, and we assume that they both have some kind of, you know, academic background in this because they both sound like they know what they're talking about.
It's kind of fun watching like professionals just lose it on these idiots. Like Nenshi in Calgary. Did you see that speech that he did about the anti-maskers? Nenshi, like the mayor.
Nenshi do something? Cool.
Well, he basically was just like, you're all idiots. Like, he literally called them idiots. You're selfish idiots. Stop it. Like, quit going out in public without masks. Like, stop being so selfish and ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, Nenshi, tell them.
Yeah, the premier of Manitoba did something similar where he's like, if you think it's a hoax, you're an idiot.
Yeah. And you are.
That was it. If you think it's a big hoax, you're dumb.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Kathleen, what are we going to do?
We're going to stay at home. We're going to lose weight.
I can't believe how fat I'm going to get. Like over Christmas, you know how fat we're going to fucking be? Like, quit it. Are you going to eat turkey on a treadmill? That'd be cool. Like, that should be your OnlyFans thing. You eating fucking really fattening food while going quite fast on a treadmill. Like 4.9 miles per hour on a steep incline, eating a fucking turkey leg and just gravy right out of the boat. I wouldn't be surprised if you had some guys that wanted to see you do that.
I have guys that I have some foot people, and then I have some people that are like into giants.
Okay.
So they make me take pictures as if I'm a giant.
Really?
Like stepping, and like not naked.
Do you have to Photoshop their head onto a baby and you hold it or something, or?
No, like I just like put the camera on the floor and walk near it.
Oh, okay.
And make it look like I'm a giant, because I'm 6'1". I am a giant, but like not a real.
Are there guys with like hand thing? Like, do they love hands or any guys?
There's a person for every. Like, I'd never heard of this like giantess, and then he's like, yeah, you should look at these girls. There's some girls on OnlyFans that are doing this giant thing, and they're like making tons of money, and they're not even naked.
Really?
Yes, they're just giants. They're.
That's amazing. I didn't know. Guys are way freakier. Like, they have more. You think guys have more fetishes than girls?
I think so. I don't know too many girls with like fetishes.
They just like abs. And
the girls just like certain things, but there's not like something that like they have to. Like, we've talked about this before. I like when guys come, right? But I don't have to see a guy come every time. Like,
yeah.
if I don't see that, I can't get off.
A lot of women who think they like when a guy comes, but it's just because of the thank God it's over. You know? It's that feeling of like, oh God, my fucking, you know, I don't want to switch from left to right again. When is this gonna fucking over? Holy Christ. And then, oh yeah, there it is.
It is kind of a relief.
Stop. Yeah.
It is kind of a relief.
You think your brain tricks you into thinking it's a reward, but it's just a relief. You know,
it's a relief.
Thank Christ.
Yeah. And then you just have to then they just say, so did you come? And you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 3 times at the same time that you did.
Oh my God, so many times I've lied about. I'm like, oh, I came like 8 times.
Don't go 8, because nobody's gonna believe that.
Oh, they believe it.
Well, if the guy asks you if you came, then it probably was like under 10 minutes, the whole thing, you know?
If a guy has to ask, you probably didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, you see, you get it coming and going though, because you'll like fake one, and then a guy doesn't ask because he's like, I don't have to ask because that she was clearly into it, and you're like, no, I faked it. Sometimes when you don't fake it, they ask you, and you're like, yeah, like 9 times or something. I'm one of those people that has like a totally straight face and can scroll on their phone while I do it. I don't have a big reaction for it. I just kind of lay there like I'm bored.
I don't know why I have to be so nice. I know, like, we always say, like, I'm mean to guys, but I'm way too nice to them.
Yeah, you probably have been over the years. But what are you gonna do?
Been over the years, way too nice.
Why would you want a weird ending to, you know? Like,
yeah.
You're in a room alone with somebody. What's the point of being like, I didn't come and you're weird? Like, there's no point. Like, that guy could just murder you then. You know, there's 4 pillows there. You're already laying down.
That's probably why women fake orgasms, because we're always scared of being murdered.
it's an evolutionary response to, like, you know, if I disappoint this guy and he's a fucking lunatic, I could die.
Exactly.
But even like a murderer, like if the girl comes, he's like, I don't think I'll kill her, actually. Actually, I think I'll let this one live. She seemed to have a good time tonight.
That's the only way to escape murder. You gotta come. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If some guys, like, if you're locked in a trunk somewhere, just be like, what's
I think
that?
I'm gonna come.
Just be like, I'm coming, and then they'll let you out.
I would totally do that if I was a girl. Like, as soon as the murderer like touched me, I'd be like, oh my God, you're gonna make me come. And then he'd be like, oh, okay, I think I'm gonna let her go. She comes that easy.
She's got more living to do.
She's got more living to do. That's exactly right, Kathleen.
How long have we been talking for?
I don't know,
It's
too long.
over an hour at this point.
Yeah,
Over an hour. Look at
it's
Jim's
fucking-
exhausted.
Jim is so tired. It's not even late, but Jim has that face like, you know, Kathleen pretending to come. Just super bored. Oh God, I'm coming again. Have you ever faked one stone cold, like just to throw shade at him? Like, oh yes, it's happening again.
It's happening again.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I haven't just like done it out of spite.
Do it next time. Do it in a different language. Do it in like Russian, because then the guy will be like, Jesus Christ, like I made her Russian come. Just learn some dirty Russian words and say it in that language.
That'd be so funny. Just out of nowhere, start screaming Russian words.
You know, just start fucking screaming Russian shit. Whatever they screamed before they were killed in the gulags. Find a gulags murder clip.
I think we just found out Sean's fetish tonight.
Gulag murders.
Russian. Girls coming in Russian.
Robots who come. That's what I'm into. Just like, hello. Oh, yes, big guy. That kind of stuff, you know? This is the dumbest podcast ever recorded.
It's ridiculous. This was our longest episode, probably.
And we were doing it like with people chopping out and cutting out. It wasn't too bad though.
No,
No one cut out.
No, I think it's gonna be good.
We did it.
Okay. All right. Jim's the
I'm proud
authority
of us.
on whether things are good or not.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do it. We'll do another one, sure.
Oh, and
Well,
just so you
basically,
guys both know,
What?
I was masturbating the whole time.
Oh my God. See, you can't even tell. It's hard to do without like. Here, look at this.
Yeah,
Like,
that's.
be
Like, what are you? I'm scratching my
obvious.
knee. I'm just
Scratching
scratching
your
my
knee.
knee.
Louise, I still got that friggin' smallpox. Don't scratch it, they said, but my goodness, does it itch. Throw a little shoulder into it.
Oh my
No,
God.
but that is a good way to. What's that?
I'm definitely gonna get a bruised
Are you
lip
guys?
again.
Is Kathleen frozen?
A bruised
Who's
lip.
frozen?
You are.
Me?
No.
Well,
No,
it
I
was
thought
good, and
somebody
then
was
it ended on a
frozen, but it was
bad
just
note.
people. I wasn't sure if it was frozen or if I just had two people staring at me like, "Shut the fuck up." Turns out it was two people staring at me like, "Shut the fuck up. I have things to do tonight." I have to. The thing that I'm going to do tonight is look for comedy at Club 54.
I know. I'm so excited to do that after this.
But I want people who listen to this podcast to check out that global news story with Stu Hughes on a ventilator, fucking promoting the Funny Fest. That is pretty funny.
Should I tweet it from our Twitter account?
But like, this is the only press stand-up comedy in Alberta.
Okay.
This is the only press that stand-up comedy in Alberta's had in 15 years, and it's from an ICQ.
Okay, I'll do it.
The Funny Fest.
He'll like
Next
the
year's Funny
exposure.
Fest. You know that Stu's going to have hospital shows next year.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's definitely going to be like, no, we met a couple guys and we're going to put on a fucking show down near the ICU, not where the beds are, but you know, the nurses' station area. They've got a little stage there, and We're going to
literally probably already pitched that.
Foothills Hospital, they're really great people, and they love to laugh. And I told them I'd give them 500 free tickets if they saved my life, and here I am. And so we're going to do a bunch of ICU shows at the Foothills Hospital. He's probably the only guy in there getting fucking skipped the dishes from an Indian restaurant every night too, you know. Everybody else is just eating soup and trying to get better, and
he can't even taste anything because he's got COVID, but he's getting it.
I know. Imagine if you got COVID and you lost your ability to taste and you still got A&W. Like, what's the matter with your brain? I can't taste it, but I just love the texture of horrible food.
That's the best diet ever. If you can't taste food, then just eat healthy food.
People are really underestimating COVID's ability to help people fucking lose weight.
Lose some weight.
I hope I lose my sense of taste and it never comes back. No, you'd think about what great shape you'd be in if it was like, what's the point? You never
want to taste food ever again?
I'd be all apples and water and spinach. That's it. I'd be like a cat. I would just eat spinach, apples, and drink water. What would be the point of any other thing? You know?
That is true.
And then people would be like, fuck, is Sean ever ripped? Does he have cancer?
No, he had COVID.
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 Never came back, and here I am looking great. Well, we should stop talking anyway, right?
Yeah, we have to record another one after this.
Oh, you imagine trying to do back-to-backs. Oh, Rachel Notley, oh my God, Rachel Notley fucking tweeted it out.
Really?
Rachel, or did I? Yeah, Rachel, how do you say it? Notley or Notley? I say Notley. I just like Notley better.
What did she say about it?
She tweeted out, the Calgary comedian hospitalized with COVID-19 says he didn't take warning seriously. And she says, Calgary comedian who has COVID-19 makes it clear the virus is no laughing matter. She turned it into a fucking... So Rachel...
He's going to come out looking like a fucking hero.
Rachel Notley had a better headline than Global did. So the Global marketing team down there, they're like, Calgary comedian hospitalized with COVID-19 says he didn't take warning seriously. And then she writes the perfect headline. Calgary comedian who has COVID-19 makes it clear the virus is no laughing matter. Like, I mean, she just nailed it. And then she says, take the risk seriously, obey public health orders, ABLEG, #YYC.
Oh my God, Stu Hughes. I'm tweeting it out so our two listeners can look at it.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, thanks for being on your own podcast. Thanks, Jim, for telling me what the password to the meeting was.
Yeah, thanks for giving us the password.
You're welcome.
Hope everybody has a good week.
Yeah. Enjoy Burlington.
Oh, it's really a beautiful city. Once you get out of it. Looking back on it, like Burlington's one of those towns that's kind of nice. Like if you were on a horse and you stopped and you looked back at where you were in Burlington and said, there's Burlington, and then you kept riding your horse. But like being in it is horrible. Being in it's awful.
That's the best way to end this.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time out of your day.
Enjoy Club 54. I'll send you my favorite. You send me yours.
Coronavirus is no laughing matter.
Bye.
Fuck,
Bye.